It's 106.1 Kiss FM, K-Man's Best Variety. It is Blake and Aaron. Our show brought to you by Subway Eat Fresh. It is 7:21 right now.
Big news. I have some important news for you. Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Happy Friday, Sandy.
Happy Friday. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
Yeah, we got a lot to cover this morning.
Woo-wee. Yes, we do.
By the way, did you hear that Meatloaf has passed away?
No. Oh
yeah, I know. I don't mean the food, obviously, the singer. Yeah.
I loved his reboot. You know, I didn't really know him, I think, originally because I was probably too young.
Mm-hmm.
His first thing. But when he came back in the 90s, in the late 90s, I was all about it. It became part of it was like an anthem from my university life. So I loved him.
Yeah, he was 74, and they haven't given a cause of death yet. So tough January, you know. Bob Saget, Betty White, for celebrities. So,
gosh, well, you got to appreciate every minute you've got. So, good morning to everyone. We've got some news headlines for you this morning. So, kicking it off, of course, there's a press conference yesterday. Lots of information came out of that. So one of the big things I think a lot of people are kind of holding their breath for is what about the children? So the good news is now children 0 to 11 will actually adopt the vaccination status of their parents.
Mm-hmm. So fantastic. Let's book some flights.
Yes, if you are vaccinated or not, your children will acquire that status. So,
which means there's no more isolation for when you come back from travel. That's what that means.
Yeah. So, I think that's a good move. And that's precisely what a lot of people want or wanted. So despite that, though, I saw people messaging me, but what about this? And I'm like, hey, that's one step at a time. Mm-hmm. You know, you've got to understand that these changes are coming incrementally. And, this is as close as we're going to get, I think, for now. In terms
I thought it was a very good press conference yesterday.
Yes,
I thought it was well organized. I thought they were concise. Yeah. I thought they came across as very confident, and said the right things.
Yes, absolutely.
Now they did change the when you come out of when you travel and you get back, they say you can't exit your house until you get a negative either PCR or certified lateral flow test. Right. And then you test on day 2, 5, and now 7 instead of 10.
Right.
That's the case?
Yeah. So, and in addition to that, they've actually set up the drive-through PCR or lateral flow testing center, which you can now go to. And they've been very, very cautious to inform people that for that one, make sure that you understand that you actually have to prepay. So if you're not in a position to pay online, they've got an online portal that they have set up. I feel like they've been really, really busy. So they've set up an online portal for the purposes of that. And you can do, your payments and everything online. Otherwise, you have to go through the traditional method. So big shout out to the HSA, special drive-through clinic now for certified LFTs at the Truman Bodden Sports Complex from 7 until 10. And again, the facility, only persons who can pay, this is exit quarantine based on the new government regulations. So, you can go to their website, hsa.ky/appointment, and make your appointment and prepay. If you've got to pay cash, and you've got to look at going to McLendon Drive location from 7:30 until 12.
Now, something very interesting, I don't know if you caught it, but Minister Bryan said there's a thing now that you can do it online. It's called azova.com, where you can do a video observation and valid lab report for travel online and get it certified. You don't have to go to any of those clinics. Check it out. Yeah.
That's available here.
Yeah, azova.com, azova.com.
Okay.
That was it was in the message of
the Minister Bryan's
statement yesterday. So that sounded amazing.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, they haven't said anything specific about that in any of their press releases. So I'm going to just verify that.
Yeah, follow up on that because we made a note of that when we heard it. We thought, oh, that's fantastic. Because you can video yourself of you doing an LFT at home, and then that can get certified by these folks, at azova.com.
Yeah, it's interesting because in his note section, they've not said a word about that. So that's interesting. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe follow up on that.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely check that out. So someone says that that it's expensive to do. Someone just said it's expensive, and I
haven't seen the price on it.
Okay.
Possibly.
All right. So the Minister of Education has been hospitalized due to, they are saying that she needs additional testing for, she tested positive for COVID a few days ago. So that's Minister Juliana O'Connor-Conley. So we're obviously wishing her a speedy recovery. So she was admitted to Faith Hospital, waiting transportation to Grand Cayman, which happened yesterday afternoon. And the helicopter actually went over and assisted with transporting her and another patient. They made 2 trips yesterday. So
really,
yeah, they moved 2 patients from Cayman back to Grand Cayman so that they could get additional treatment for COVID-related illness.
Wow. Well, we wish her the best. Both patients, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely. So there was a bit of entertainment yesterday at the press conference. So in case you missed it, a lot of people were entertained by the translator. And we're going to talk about that later on this morning. But
yes, the sign language person. The sign language person. There's memes everywhere now. She's the new thing.
Oh my gosh, we've got a video that's hilarious that we'll be sharing. But yes, that was a highlight of people's day who were watching.
So let me ask you, because I know you know the answers. So first of all, what's her name?
Her name is Sandra Miller.
Sandra Miller. And was she actually signing? Were those real sign language hand signs and things?
Well, this was the $1 million question. And I, as well as everybody else, was wondering.
Or was she making it up as she was going along?
No, we reached out to someone who fluently speaks sign language. And I said, my question was this legit today? And the person LOL and said what she was doing was real sign language. Yes. Was she interpreting verbatim? No. She simplified it quite a bit. Was it professional? No. So that was there. And this is someone who I'm not sure if they're like certified as an interpreter, but they have spoken it, I think, all of their life because they actually have a parent who was hearing impaired. And so they actually, I know, studied it for sure in an official capacity. So that was their feedback on it. So yeah, we're going to break that down a little bit more.
She was filling in for the normal person.
Yeah, it was very animated.
Yes, very much so.
So Cayman Airways received their fourth Boeing 737-8 yesterday. The airline was piloted by Captain Perry Panton alongside First Officer Troy McCoy. As they brought it in, they did a flyover at the Sister Islands and Grand Cayman, and they landed to a full water salute. So there were several people on board, including executive team members and as part of the acceptance team. And they actually had a ribbon cutting ceremony in Seattle before the aircraft departed Seattle. A lot of people are following it. We were talking about this yesterday on the tracker, and they're like, okay, it's 2 hours out and it's 1 hour out. So lots of excitement, and people actually went to the airport as well to view it coming in. So we had some footage of that. That was pretty cool.
So Cayman Airways flew all these people up to Seattle just to get on the plane and fly back for a new plane. All right.
Yes, well,
that's cool. That's why those prices are so high right now on Cayman Airways.
Oh my gosh. Barbados election is done. And Mia Mottley was reelected as Prime Minister of Barbados after a clean sweep of all 30 seats in the country's first general election as a republic. So she literally, it was a landslide victory. She cleaned up. The opposition had tried to challenge her ability to call an election, and the High Court there actually said that they had no jurisdiction to stop it. So the election went on as planned, and she won. There were, however, thousands of people, over 5,000 people, that were not able to participate in the election because they were actually in lockdown and because of COVID. And my understanding is they don't have anything that they can accommodate them with in terms of like mobile voting and that sort of thing, which is kind of weird. It seems like their elections law might need to be updated a little bit.
I think everywhere, actually. I can see that being an issue for everywhere in the world.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of countries have mail-in ballot options like the US or mobile.
Yeah.
I mean, they can still accommodate, but apparently Barbados has no such provisions in law.
Interesting.
So she's making a lot of promises, including that she's going to build some 10,000 homes in the next 5 years. Now, you and I have got a little bit of a exclusive tea this morning.
We do.
Your teacup starts
We do,
sipping.
actually. We do.
We're excited.
So now, so you've let some of your listeners, viewers know already. It's no secret that DMS Broadcasting is going to be growing from 4 radio stations to 7 in the next month or so. And we know that 2 of them are music stations, one of them being a country music station at 93.5, and it's called K Country. And they're currently running in the background now. Will be live to air in just about a month. There's another one that we've designated as a secret format. We haven't let people know what that format is. Of course, Cayman Mile Road knows what the format is, but they're not going to reveal what that format is.
Lips are sealed.
just yet. And then there's a third station that we're announcing that Sandy will be the morning show host of, and it will not be a music format station. It will be a talk format station, and the frequency will be. Shall we do a drum roll?
Drum roll, please. Actually, let me take out my little. Oh yes, you got all. We have an air horn in our end.
89.1. 89.1 will be the new station. And can you got the air horns? I don't have air horns. Let's do the air horns. Okay. There we go. Now, next Friday, we'll reveal the name of the radio station. All right. Next Friday, right here.
Messaging me, congrats. Thank you guys so much. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm totally psyched about this.
Now, here's what's going to be cool is that you're still going to do your current platforms. You're still going to be on, be able to view you on Facebook and YouTube. Your audio will just be on this new radio station, 89.1, which will be under the DMS Broadcasting.
Same cold, hard truth. We're spilling the same tea over there. So
that's right.
Absolutely excited. 89.1, best frequency. You guys don't want to miss it.
7 stations, and that's what makes DMS Broadcasting the most powerful name in media.
That's right.
So looking forward to that. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch up with you on Tuesday morning. Enjoy the 3 days off.
It's a holiday.
That's right.
Have a good one.
All right. We'll see you later.
All right, guys. So you guys heard it here first. A little exclusive tea for you. 89.1 is coming. I'm super excited. Next week, as Blake said, we will be revealing the name. You guys are going to love the name. Let me assure you. It's awesome. Yeah, if I might say so myself. So so now I can message my little designer guy here and say to him, I can't remember his name. I can say to him, yes, we can put up the frequency. No name yet, but we got a frequency. Okay, so we're teasing you guys a little bit. Absolutely. But yes, it's coming. 89.1 FM. Yeah. All right. Totally exciting stuff. Who's with me? Evelyn, happy Friday. Can you believe the month is almost over? We got, another week and 2 days? Woo, 21st. Leslie, good morning. Maria, buenos dias. Paulette, how are you? Yes, Mia. Miss Motley, she is like a hot commodity. Her ratings worldwide shot through the roof when she attended the what was it called? The Climate Change 26, I think was the name of it. And she gave this speech that was just so empowering and so passionate that everyone around the world started paying attention to this little country called Barbados for something other than Rihanna. Because most of y'all only know Barbados because you're like, ooh, Rihanna's from Barbados. She has a beautiful voice and she's so sexy and she's a businesswoman. She's a billionaire and she's this and she's that. Rihanna has really put Barbados on the map in a big way. And, she's doing so many positive things. I mean, I love Rihanna personally. I like a lot of her music and stuff as well. But yes, honey child, we're sipping a little extra tea today. Leroy, Miss Wee Wee, Virtuous, Olivia. Emma says, and he said it's available 24 hours. Well, it's so strange about that. I got to look into that because I think I missed that little snippet. And they've not said anything in their press release about it. So, yes, I'm going to definitely confirm all the details of that. Y'all know I like to get this tea straight from the source if I can. Okay, so we'll look into that. Lavana, good morning. Says Sandra has been doing that for years. Doing what? What were we talking about at the time? I can't remember. Leroy says give her Cayman Oscar. What was that specifically about? Susan, good morning, Miss Sue. Diamond Princess says good morning to all of our lovely people. Miss Alice is here. Felicia's here. Daisy, Kay, Miss Lily in the house. Yes, thank you guys so much. We are definitely taking it to the next level. Total excitement. 89.1. So go in your car and save the frequency already. Do you know that I don't even know how to do that in my car? I should be ashamed of myself telling you all this, but anytime I need it done, I have to ask somebody else. Like my husband, I'm like, oh, can you save a new frequency for me? The car dealer initially did it, and so I don't know how to do it. And I swear they just made it more complicated with all these new fandangle parts and stuff. So my designer used to be very specific with him because English is not his first language. And so I said, we can now add the frequency 89.1. So he's like, okay, so I replace with frequency 89.1. I'm like, no, Bobo. I just put 89.1 FM because he's going to put the word frequency in there. This is when there's a language barrier. I have to be yesterday, I think it was, I sent him something. This is kind of funny. Really nice guy. And he's very on it with time, right? So I sent him something and I said, oh, put this in the fine print. So he put fine print and then what I was saying. So I was like, no, sir. When someone says to put something in fine print, all they're telling you is the text should be in fine print, and fine print means, so I had to break it down a little bit for him. Oh, you guys talking about the other Sandra Miller. Oh, okay. I was confused for a second there because obviously we have the same name. Okay, so let's get it. Yes, honey child, this situation with Sandra is a little bit weird. First of all, I was in and out of the press conference. You guys know it's such a weird time of day for me to be able to, jump in on the show. Now, I don't normally I don't normally really have any questions to ask, to be quite frank and honest, because I, to be quite frank, the day before we had the premiere on for almost 3 hours, and we got our questions answered. So I don't belabor the point of asking questions just for the sake of asking questions. So I think a lot of media, like even some of the questions I'm hearing them asking, I'm like, but don't you know the answer to that already? So it's almost like they just want to be able to stand up and say, oh, I'm here, let me ask a question. So, I figure if you can get the question answered some other way, what is the point of needing to ask it at a press conference just so other people can hear you ask it? Okay. So I had Renee listening to the press conference. Big shout out to Renee. And Renee got her stories up in relation to the press conference. She was on it. I've got to organize myself because, again, yesterday at Gianna's school, they had a teacher conference thing in the afternoon. So she had no aftercare, after school program. So she had to be picked up right at the time the press conference was starting. And then I needed to run her to another appointment. So I knew that I would not be focused on the press conference because of the time and what I had committed to as a mother. My first job, my most important job. And so I had Kevin on the back end monitoring the feed. And he was, making sure that everything was okay. And if he needed to kill the feed at the end of it, he did, and that sort of thing. I was not only taking her to an appointment, I was running like 2 other appointments at the same time. Got a little house project going on, which means that I'm in the process of doing January, February, March, the whole year I've got projects, right? So one of my January projects was there is a room in this house that has needed to be properly organized with cabinetry and storage for quite some time. And it's been years. And I'm finally just getting around to it. So everything had to be pulled out. Cabinets went in. Now I'm having to go through all the stuff that was pulled out because in my mind, you don't just shove everything back in there because if it's been there for 4 years and you don't even know what's in there and you've never used it, and maybe it's just time to get rid of it, and I'm going to repurpose. Like I've got some, anybody has a young child that needs some light bulbs, like I keep, not light bulbs, the security plugs. So I came across a bunch of those that automatically close on their own. And I must have purchased them when Gianna was a baby. Now they've never been used. And I no longer really have a need for them because what we did, I don't know why I purchased them and then found another solution. But what we did, in fact, is all of our plugs have a hard plastic cover on them. So, but at some point I had purchased these. So I've got these self-closing outlets. And I think what happened, now that I'm looking at an outlet here in this room, we actually have the outlets that include things like, they're smart outlets. So they include things like the USB plugs on them. And some of them have, I think, the USB-C plug, so they can charge. You can plug like your chargers and stuff into them. So they're more modern, I guess, outlets, right? So we wouldn't use these face plates anyway. But you know what? Maybe someone out there who has a young child who doesn't need a fancy plate, but these are still pretty cool. So they self-close so that they do not present a choking hazard or an electrical hazard. So, your kids don't stick their fingers in there and get shocked or anything like that. So if you know someone who could use these, brand new, still in the box, link me up. So I've got those. I even have some bulbs that I purchased. I don't know what I was intending to use them for, but I think maybe the porch light. But then the porch light's like covered. So I'm thinking But they're like big bulbs and they have a zapper on the inside that if they're perfect for outdoor use or on a porch, because they zap bugs. So they provide you with light. And then you know how bugs are attracted to the light? Well, it has like a little thing in there where it'll zap the bugs as well. It's actually really good. My husband says, I love it as seen on TV thing. He's like, he said, those commercials as seen on TV were designed for people like you. He always tells me this. And I was like, not really, but I can see what he means because I love a gadget and I love to try something out that's new. We're going to get to that here in a second, Lavonda. Thanks for clarifying. So yes, I'm going to be clearing out a bunch of stuff, and I've got like candles and all sorts of stuff. So I did a few areas yesterday in terms of putting some stuff back in, lots of cleaning supplies because it's like a utility room. So I'm just trying to organize stuff logically. You know, you have your cleaning supplies all over the place. Sometimes you can't even remember what you have. So I'm trying to put like all the laundry stuff in a little bin. So when the helper comes back, it's like, okay, this section is laundry. This section is like bathroom cleaning supplies. This section is cleaning supplies for the kitchen, like totally getting it organized. And I went through one of my file cabinets day before yesterday, and I took out all my old papers that I no longer need, shredding stuff, getting rid of stuff, and some things that I want to keep scanning. And then my scanning went kapoots. The scanner, like the scanning bed in my home office printer thingamajig, decided it was just going to go on the fritz after like having it for less than 2 years. So I'm trying to get that sorted out, working on getting the part and stuff. What can you do? Louis, good morning. Did you meant to say hood morning or good morning? 8 degrees Fahrenheit in Louis in Detroit. Oh yeah, that's cold. All up in the hood. Yes. Good morning, Corrine. How are you feeling? Oh, you'll take them? Beautiful. Wonderful. Done. Absolutely. Yes. And I'll let you know what else I come across because I feel like there's stuff in there that I probably didn't even know I had. Like years later, you're like, oh, I bought this? Oh, yeah. Jonathan, thank you so much. Joining us from St. Martin. I'm excited because, like I said, a lot of people are still listening to the radio. So, yes, it's all about organizing your stuff. Yeah, when you don't know what you got and where stuff is. And I like to clear out. I really am a person who doesn't like clutter. But even so, we all seem to accumulate a little bit of clutter. So, you know, I like to clear stuff out and, you know, use my scanner, back up my documents. I have everything electronically, and then I have that backed up. I have redundancies in place. And big shout out to Marlon. Marlon is like the best IT man to have around. Trust me. So he saw that I was running out of space on my hard drive. I think I told you guys this a couple of years ago. So my machine has 2 hard drives, and he saw that the primary hard drive, which is like a terabyte, was running out of space. So he was going to move stuff to the secondary hard drive, which I think, what did he say that one has? How much space? That one is a 2 terabyte drive, I believe. Yes, that one's 2 terabytes. The other one's 1 terabyte. So in total, I have 3 terabytes. And somehow I had managed to use up almost a terabyte on the primary drive, and it was like getting full. So he noticed that, and he started moving stuff over to the backup drive. So now I have, 746 gig free in that drive. So anyway, you know, I also have stuff in the cloud, and I have a lot of redundancies in place. So when he moved stuff over, I couldn't find my QuickBooks file for one of my companies. And I was like, oh, I'm searching on the computer, I'm searching the second drive, and I couldn't find it. I was like, oh my God, I cannot lose. Like, trust me. When you're a business and you actually take the time to try to keep up with your accounts somewhat, send your customers receipts, all this kind of stuff, QuickBooks is your lifeline. And I couldn't find it. I was like a bit panicky day before yesterday. I was like, Marlon, I can't find my QuickBooks file. Oh my God, ruination, brimfire, and whatever falling from the sky. He's like, calm down. He's very calm. And, he was able to pull it from one of the backup files because he's constantly backing up my content for me. He makes sure that I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And so he was able to recover it. And I don't know what happened to it. And so anyway, thank you, Marlon, for that. That was a godsend, believe me. I was like, oh my gosh. So that file was recovered. I had to double check to make sure. I'm always behind with my rookie company and invoicing anyway, and like receipts. And right now I'm at September. So I've got October, November, and December to do, and now January, because January is almost over. So here's my plan. I'm going to do January because it's easier to just start where I'm at now, 2022. I'm going to do January. And then I'm going to take my time and do, when I say take my time, I'm trying to do it like in a week's time. Do September, October, November, whatever. Okay. So yeah, so I'm going to catch up on those. And then, it's good to have this stuff because listen, when you're a business owner and you ever have to go to the bank for anything or whatever, you got to be showing them financials. They're like, okay, well, we want to see if you're making any money and what you're doing, So, you got to, and for your clients too, you got to be able to send them stuff. And anyway, I digress. Let's talk about Sandra Miller and not Sandra Hill. Good morning, Yuhan. Yes, let's talk about that sign language interpreter. So first of all, this has become the meme of the day. Let's watch a video that someone put together, and then we're going to talk about it. Sandy Miller is from Windsor Park. She is a Caymanian, and I like that they at least found a Caymanian to use, but boy, it was interesting. Let me put it that way. So I never knew that she signed. First of all, this is indeed news to me. Never knew. And I said to someone, oh, Sandy signs. Wow. She was so animated during the press conference. I got to tell you that all of you were engaged in her animation. So here's a video that someone put together. Have a look at this.
When you accidentally drink 6 cups of coffee.
You want to bamba? You wanna G with the big boys? Now you the wrong, kitty, you the wrong, get enough with drink with a drop cup. Ha! Hey! So you see how the thing goes? How the thing goes? Ha! You want to bamba? You wanna G with the big boys? Now you the wrong, kitty, you the wrong, get enough with drink with a drop cup. Ha! Hey! So you see how the thing goes? How the thing goes?
Let's watch it one more time because this is whoever put this together, and I do know who it is, but I'm not going to name them. They are civil servants, so maybe they don't want to be named, but they are very, very creative, and I think this is absolutely hilarious.
When you accidentally drink 6 cups of coffee.
You want to bamba? You wanna G with the big boys? Now you the wrong, kitty, you the wrong, get enough with drink with a drop cup. Ha! Hey! So you see how the thing goes? How the thing goes? You want to bamba? You wanna G with the big boys? Now you the wrong, kitty, you the wrong, get enough with drink with a drop cup. Ha! Hey! So you see how the thing goes? How the thing goes?
All right, folks, that is next level. I mean, it truly is very, very, very interesting. Now, here's the thing, right? I don't know about y'all, but I was thoroughly entertained. And even during the press conference, everybody was focused on her. Now, I don't know. I'm sure the government is like, well, that wasn't the intent of having a translator, an interpreter. It should really be to augment the services of the government for anybody who's hearing impaired. But listen, those of us who are not hearing impaired or don't speak sign language, we were all like, it was a jaw-dropping performance. And seriously, it's the most animated thing that I've seen in a while. Now, I gotta be honest with you though, when I saw it, I thought, is this real? Because you guys have heard of people doing sign language before, and they were actually not, and they were very animated like this. They were not, they were actually not, They were not legit. So they were fake translators. And I always thought to myself, who can be a fake language interpreter? Remember, I think there was somebody who did it with Obama. There was a Tampa police guy. And I think during, I want to say even Hurricane Katrina, there was one as well. Okay, let me show you guys a few of these, because there's been a few instances of this happening. And they were like, the person was speaking complete gibberish. So, hold on. I want to show you guys this one. This is the thing. Like, listen, if you don't know, then you don't know. Am I right? And I feel like people can fool us if you don't speak sign language. And I mean, did I ever tell you guys that when my daughter was a baby, we taught her a few words to sign by? So she did learn, let me just see here, downloads. Let me get to the video section. She did learn a few words. Where's the saving this to? The video section. Okay. So she did learn a few words in sign. Like she knew, let me tell you what she knew. Hold on, I'm trying to remember myself. Like she knew, I don't know if there's like two, like one's for daddy, one's for mommy. Like she knew those. She knew milk. And some of them make total logical sense. Like this is milk. You feel like you're milking a cow, right? So that was milk. She knew more. What else? So she was doing basic sign language before she could vocalize those words, which is so amazing because that means that a baby totally understands you and they understand what you're saying to them and they can communicate with you. They just don't have the vocal capacity to say what they want. But she was like, she wants milk. And yes, she wants more. And there's another one. Oh my gosh. Anyway, she had a basic vocabulary, but she knew about, I would say 10, 15 words before she could even say like a proper word, right? Bath was like bath, almost like you're washing yourself. So she knew that. What else did she know? What was food again? But she knew a couple words. Anyway, so we taught her, and it was so easy to teach her by just doing YouTube sign languages. A woman named, oh God. Hold on. Let me see if I can find her name again. Her name is Shula, Patty Shula or something. Yes, Patty Shukla. She does sign language for kids. And if you ever want to check out baby sign language, let me show you. And she does it with like fun music. Hold on. You guys gotta check her out. She's pretty cool. Yes. We used to watch these all the time. So more. She did it with singing. Oh, I'm not even showing you this.
More, please.
There we go.
More.
Yeah, so she knew more. She knew please.
More, please. Yes. No.
Oh my gosh, this is bringing back memories.
Yes.
From 4 years ago.
No.
I used to watch her every day.
Yes. No. Yes. No. Daddy.
Yes, there's Daddy.
Mommy. Daddy, Mommy. Daddy, Mommy. Daddy, Mommy. Share. 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 Eat.
Yes, we did eat. So listen, Gianna knew a bunch of those. She knew eat as well. So we would ask her, are you hungry? Do you want to eat? And then she could say yes or no or whatever, right? So listen, teach your kids a little bit of sign language. I don't know that she would remember anything now, but it was certainly helpful when she couldn't talk because she could still tell us. Like she would legit say, she wants a bath. She wants more milk. I'm like, do you want more milk? And she'd be like, yes. So listen, but there have been some epic cases of people who did not sign and they were just pretending. They were fraudsters. So it has happened before. So yesterday when all this was going on, I remember sitting there. Here's one from the Tampa police spokesperson department. I'm always shocked at how someone could not know sign language and get up there and actually perform during a press conference. The world is looking at you. Potentially millions of people are looking at you. That takes a different level of like con artistry. You got to have some real balls, because I would be like, after the first 2 seconds, I would be like, what do I do next? Like, I wouldn't even know what to do. How do you be a fake sign language interpreter like this woman I'm about to show you? And you just continue signing. I'm like, it takes way too much effort. You might as well like learn sign language for real, right? But check this woman out. Do you guys remember this case? I feel like I've definitely seen this video before. But look
It's
at her.
happened again. Another sign language interpreter accused of signing total gibberish. This time it was at the police news conference announcing an arrest in the Tampa serial killings.
We will be charging 4 counts of first-degree murder.
Standing off to the side, apparently translating every word, this woman.
We received over 5,000 tips in this case.
But it turns out much of what she was signing was nonsense. She waved her arms around like she was singing Jingle Bells, says one outraged sign language expert. The woman, identified as Derlin Roberts, has a string of arrests for fraud. So how did she come to be translating at last week's high-profile police news conference?
I just didn't ask enough questions.
Tampa Police Public Information Officer Steve Hegarty told me the woman simply showed up out of the blue and offered her services.
My immediate reaction was, I didn't call for a sign language interpreter, but that's great that we have one here. I let her in.
Did this woman appear to know what she was doing?
To the untrained eye, and that would include mine, I didn't see any problem.
This latest embarrassment comes 3 months after it was revealed that the sign language interpreter at a Hurricane Irma news conference, also in Florida, made no sense.
The time to act is now.
Hegarty is summing up the latest goof.
We won't be using that woman again.
Cops say this was not a crime, but it was an ethical violation.
Oh my God. Can you believe it? It's not a crime, but it's an ethical violation? Okay. It should be a crime for someone to do this if they are not actually a proper interpreter. But anyway, listen, it's quite shocking. But let's look at another one because, you know, it's easy in this day and age for something to go viral and for you to be shot to fame. So now everybody in Cape Ann knows who Sandra Miller is. She is our latest Cape Ann celebrity. She's gonna get her 15 minutes of fame. Isn't that cool? So Evelyn says, true. I was more focused on her. She put on a show. Yuhan says, I'm sure Holy Cape Ann is tuning in today. Sure, I wouldn't miss it for the world. Maria says, I'm loving it. Irvin says, I love her. Good morning, Sonia. Good morning to Larry, joining us from New York. Louis says she has a gift, in my opinion. All right. Check this one out. Here's another one that was gifted.
Yet often it was someone else who caught everyone's eye. Lydia Callis, the mayor's mesmerizing sign language interpreter.
Whose expressive sign language interpreting turned disaster press briefings into an Alvin Ailey sign language recital.
Her signs are set to music. Here's a Gangnam Style spoof.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
And this on Saturday Night Live.
With a special thanks to my sign language translator, Lydia Callis, who brought some pizzazz to what would otherwise have been a dour occasion.
I did want to bring, did you see Saturday Night Live?
I did.
Thought so.
Callis arrived for our interview with her own interpreter.
Were you surprised by the reaction?
I actually was very surprised. Naturally, I was a bit overwhelmed, but at the same time, I felt like, wow, this is great. If this is what's going to shine light and bring it to the deaf community and the culture and the language, then it's a beautiful thing, and I'm all for it.
2 to 4 out of every 1,000 Americans are functionally deaf.
What was this all about when you were doing that?
Those are signs for the storm.
Okay.
So when you have wind, you would go like this for wind.
Wind.
Yes.
Callis's mom and 3 siblings are deaf. Sign language was her first language.
If you watched any of the news reports, you could see that I was signing, but I was also mouthing the words as well, because you have people that are completely deaf, cannot read lips, cannot speak, and rely solely on sign language. And then you have people at the complete other end of the spectrum who are oral and can speak for themselves and have some hearing, who are hard of hearing and can't understand sign language.
But why so expressive?
His tone was very fierce, it was very strong, and I had to portray that through my message and my facial expressions, because it was important for people to know that if they were in zone A, it was immediate danger and they needed to evacuate their homes as soon as possible.
She also follows the news, so she knows how to sign words like surge and crane. Then there are times the message for the deaf and the hearing are one and the same.
One of the pictures that was taken of me and the mayor, we are looking at one of the reporters. We both have our hands in the air looking at the reporter like, are you kidding me?
Callis says it's all about interpreting the mayor's message as faithfully as possible. Her fans say. Alina Cho, CNN, New York.
Oh my gosh. He's like, I love you. Oh, Sandra is in the chat. Girl, go on WhatsApp and click on the link and join the show. Everybody wants to hear from you this morning. Super easy. Just click on the link. Do I have it up on the screen? Let me screen it. Let me put it across the screen. But I actually have sent you the link in WhatsApp. Click on that and we can have you on the show live. People want to see you this morning. Get on, girl. Start translating for us. Listen, I think that it's a personality thing. There are obviously some translators who are more expressive than others. This woman shot to fame, this New York City translator, because she was extremely animated. And Sandy was obviously very, very animated as well. Let's watch this video again. This video is like classic.
When you accidentally drink 6 cups of coffee.
You want to bamba? You wanna G with the big boys? Now you the wrong, kitty, you the wrong, get enough to drink with a drop cup. Ha! Hey! So you see how the thing goes? How the thing goes? Ha! You want to bamba? You wanna G with the big boys? Now you the wrong, kitty, you the wrong, get enough to drink with a drop cup. Ha! Hey! So you see how the thing goes? How the thing goes?
All right, folks, there you have it. Sandra, are you getting ready? Listen, one of the fantastic things about our transition to traditional radio, now y'all know it's 89.1 FM, like I said, save the dial, pre-save the dial, is going to be that we will be able to take traditional calls. I don't know what's wrong with y'all though, because calling in the show is so easy. You just click on that link and you're able to call in. And let me put the link in here, by the way. Let me put it in the chat itself. Maybe that's easier. And yeah, you just jump on. Now you don't have to show your camera when you come on. You have the option of like turning it off, but I think people are just used to what they're used to. People used to pick up the phone and make a little phone call. So Sandy, shall we call you and see what's going on? Can we call you on WhatsApp? Let's see. I don't know if she's coming on or what she's doing. So let's call her. But we're going to have a proper board so it'll feed through on the show and everything. I'm so excited about all this technology. Sandra Miller.
Yes, my darling. I hear I'm hot on your airwaves.
You're live and direct.
Actually, people call me to let me know that.
Do you want to join on the show?
Online. Oh, come on, listen. We have people here, and this is something that needs to be told.
Yes. You're live now, right?
Yes. I know I'm
right.
I live. I told you must give me a call.
Yeah.
Over the years, deaf people were denied privilege of learning sign language. We have one deaf unit, and the people from different districts would come only to the Georgetown primary school. People in East End, half of them did not go to the deaf unit, and people in Cayman Brac, of course, did not get educated. However, there were some privileged ones who were able to venture to Jamaica and the United States. Jamaica's sign language is different. For instance, when you see Alice on the street, the way she speaks is totally different from the person who got educated or who didn't get educated. And there were also children who got locked up in their homes because their parents do not want other people to know that they are mentally challenged or they're hearing impaired. When you are doing your interpreting, it is difficult to do interpreting for people in the Cayman Islands based on their education. I have a young man who is well educated. He has an associate degree in accounting. When he is speaking with other deaf people in the Cayman Islands, I have to interpret for him, and he's deaf.
Now, so let me just clarify. Let me clarify something, Sandra.
Caymanian. His mother and father is a Caymanian. He's, however, he was born in the States and he grew up in the States. So his way of communicating, it's very difficult to communicate with another deaf person if their way of interpreting is based on what exposure they have had within their district. So Easterners speak totally different from West Bay. Well, yesterday's question, why I'm expressive? Because I had to do 2 sign language. I had to do one, a local sign language, then an international sign language. Second,
hold on. So can I just pause you? Can I pause you?
Half the time, we had to listen to Zoom. Zoom, those people who are on Zoom, we could not hear. The pastor, for instance, the pastor was there praying, praying, and we did not hear one word until later on. I heard whatever he was saying. Therefore, to give a little outburst of who I am, I said, yeah, my Zoom is not working. I cannot hear the pastor. However, I am Sandra Miller. I am this. I express myself in that way.
Sandra, just a second. Sandra?
Ryan is speaking. I did not hear some of it. And
can I pause you for one quick second? Yeah. I just want to clarify something. Yes, I'm just trying to clarify something. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a proper soundboard since we're going on radio where we can kind of fix these calling issues. But so what you're saying to me is, first of all, I'm glad that you have highlighted this very important conversation around, because let's be honest, everybody in Cayman this morning is talking about sign language only because of you. I mean, it is an amazing conversation. But listen,
it's something I've been saying all these years. We need to help our deaf people.
Yeah, but it brings up a wider conversation, which is what I am particularly interested in, about people who are indeed hearing impaired. And I'm glad you mentioned that we have a number of people in Cayman who either are partially deaf, fully deaf, or have some sort of hearing impediment. And my apologies if deaf is not the politically correct word anymore, because I can't keep up all the time with those.
That's okay. It's 100 of them born.
There's 100 people in Cayman who are hearing impaired at some level?
Correct. And then there are more because those young people over the 70s and 80s who boom, 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 and listen to this loud music. The best thing we could get into is educate yourself to be an audiologist, because all of them are going to go deaf from all the loud music.
Okay. So let me just find out a little bit more about you in terms of this. How did you learn sign language? Do you have someone in your life that is hearing impaired?
No, I had a friend.
Because most people learn it because of like a family member. Like I know I've got some friends who know it because their parents, for example, are hearing impaired. So they had to learn it in order to communicate with a parent or sibling. Or so you didn't actually have anyone in your family that was hearing impaired. You just wanted to learn it as a second language. And by the way, folks, sign language is a second language, is another language.
It is another language.
Because when I was in university, it counted as a foreign language credit. I actually thought about taking it for a minute, but then I was like, how much would I use it? I could have been up there.
Yeah, I started sign language from I was 13 years of age, being enthusiastic about the deaf, going to Georgetown primary school, and then I used to look through the window at all those deaf children, and then there was a young girl. She came into our class, and it was a hearing, and I'm like, how come she's deaf? And when we went to the high school together, and we were in the art class, we gravitated towards each other, and we became best friends. Then her mother sent her off to school in the States, and when she returned, she brought a book to me called The Joy of Signing. This is real-time, old-time signing. And her mother, and she left it with me. When she came back the following summer, I was able to sign to her. And the only thing I had, the knowledge wasn't the top, like father is on top. That's like the highest form of signing. And the lowest one is down to your stomach, like proud and boast and all that kind of stuff. So those are the depths in the sign. And I did not have that. And for instance, when you're doing double words like EE, there were little things that I was rusty on. And she pointed those things out to me. Later on, I ended up with further education with it. And in Montreal, of course, I did the interpreting and the great. Funny enough, I was speaking to one deaf person, and after about 45 minutes, I found out that she was French, and I'm English. And my French is so rusty at that time. But we were able to communicate perfectly in sign language, international sign language, by the way, because it's totally different. We were communicating, and then when she spelled something, I'm like, huh? And that's the time I found out that she was French and I'm English.
So let's educate.
My did not cry once because she showed me that she whatever she wants to do before. From she was 4 or 5 months, she could tell me what she wants to eat.
Yes. I was talking this morning with our listeners saying that I taught my daughter a few words as well. So she knew mommy, daddy, milk, more, food. There's a few words. Thank you. So she knew a few words before she could. Oh, there's the Guti. 2 days in a row. Oh my God. He's outside right now. He's stopped. Hold on a second, Sandra. I'm obsessed with this Guti. He has literally stopped. Let me see if I can get a picture. Hold on. He has stopped and he is just, hold on, y'all. He's just sitting there. What is he doing? Oh my God. Let me open up the window. Y'all, hold on. Don't move, Agouti. I'm sorry. This is 2 mornings in a row now. There he is. Oh, man. Oh, it's not focusing on him. There he goes.
I know, it's so weird.
Oh, we've got one in the neighborhood, and I haven't seen it for months, and I was kind of worried. And then yesterday I saw him, and now today I'm seeing him again. Oh, I got a little bit of him. Anyway, I
gotta show you tomorrow.
So, Sandra, hold on. He just went back. Where is he going? What's he doing this morning? Something's going on in the neighborhood. He just ran back the other way. Sandra, I'm gonna open up my window so I can see. He just ran back. I don't know if he's hungry. So let me ask you a question. What kind of sign language did you learn then? Did you learn American Sign Language? Because I know there are different types. So tell us what you.
Yes, this is it now. I have learned ASL.
Mm-hmm.
I know all the local sign language because half of them I've taught them sign language. They weren't exposed. So on Sundays I used to go around with a young lady at the time when she first came, Rose. I think I was about. Remember, I'm a 50-odd-year-old woman. All right,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 54 years of age. And I started this when I was 13 years of age. I have worked on in the United States. Cayman, I could go and get any job anywhere in the world because somebody needs to get a funeral, somebody needs to have a wedding, somebody needs to get their church done. I was even the very first person who started a Gappy Sign Language there. For years. And I stopped doing church because guess what? The people used to come back to me and say, "But then, Sandra, what this?" I said, "Listen to me, I'm no preacher. And right now, I just want to sit down and have my glass of wine, and I don't want to talk about
Oh my gosh. Hold on a second.
Sunday come and you talk to the preacher about it. Don't talk to me about the Bible and stuff because I am a religious, I'm a Christian, I am spiritual, but I'm not going to sit down here and pretend as if I'm a preacher because I'm not a pretender. And people who know me, they'll know that I will tell you exactly how I feel and the right thing. I don't pretend of anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, and I don't do things for people to like me.
Yeah.
Whatever I do, you respect me. I don't care if you like me or not.
Yeah.
You respect me and respect my views and thoughts about it. And the way my lifestyle is, I don't go out. Anytime anybody could tell you, I've never been out on the street or any bar room and sit down and drink up a whole bottle of wine. Okay? On the contrary to if that's been oh yeah, she drank, yeah, were you coming to my house for?
So it's American Sign Language then. And you said you have
sign language.
Yes, you said that you've worked with a number of people locally
International sign language
who are hearing impaired.
International, American. Then I have regional, which would be like the different district or Canada. So those are the kind of sign language you do to whichever person you are catering to. You have to change your mannerism. You have to change your body language. You have to change your facial expression. And remember, lip read is part of the language as well. So it's impossible for me to put a mask on to do sign language because it takes all of that plus the signing. The signing is last.
Okay. All right. So how do you explain the facial expressions? Tell us a little bit about that. Is that more of just a personal element to it? Like, are you just an animated individual or is that?
The facial expression is extremely important. Plus body language. You have to just imagine right now that you're sad. Do it on your face. If you're happy, do it on your face. Now think about somebody who do not know how to sign at all. They would know that person is sad, that person is happy, just by facial expression. So just if you could imagine that, I am combining the whole facial expression, body language, and lip reading, and hands, and trying also to get this Zoom thing and listen to whatever they were saying. Because I was told only two people, and it ended up to be Kenneth and those who came on Zoom. It was and the preacher. It was challenging, but I enjoyed it. And I'm happy it's becoming a discussion.
How did you? Yeah, no, I think
need
it's
to take time out.
I think it's good. How did you get selected for yesterday's event? How did you get selected to do a press conference? What was that process? Did somebody call you and say we need an interpreter, or how did you end up doing it yesterday?
Yes. The lady who were interpreted there before, she called me and begged me to sit in for her.
Oh, okay.
The reason for that is because sometimes when I do go to the Catholic Church and I will take over, I will sign for. More times she begged me to do it, and I kept on telling her no. I'm tired. Okay, and I kept on telling her no. And another thing too, I could slap her in her darn face. Government paying her $35 an hour. I told her, hell no, I'll do it for free because my work is $75 an hour. Okay, so I have people who would get in the boat and people who are preachers and they get married, $75 an hour. You think I'm going to waste my talent like that? Oh no. So $35, I told her to go and take that $35 and donate it to somebody who needs it because I don't need it. I do this for the love of my country and my new PAC government. If they tell me to jump, and I'll say how high. They did not know that I was going there yesterday.
Wow, that's news to us. But listen, we're all for it. Someone on the live, Jason says, I want to learn. Perla says that she has 5 friends who I guess are hearing impaired. And Janelle says that we need to start having you in this show so that you can translate some of the sus for us, because I've had memes made of me because people say that I'm very, very expressive. And so, we have a viewer who's saying, add her to the CMR show because then it would be lit. All the hearing impaired people. But one good thing I must say, I think it was like last year sometime, we had someone join in on the live and they messaged me afterwards and said, oh, thank you for adding the what's it called? The words that scroll across the screen. What do they call it again?
CCTV.
Yeah,
CC,
right?
That's important.
And I said that I didn't.
I asked them for that.
I said I didn't add it.
They were.
Yeah, I said that I didn't add it. Facebook has that as part of the live feature. So Facebook actually has the scrolling of the words as I'm speaking. So I think it's still there. If you're watching a Facebook Live, it's not always 100%, so it might miss 1 or 2 words, whatever, but it's actually pretty good. And it does it like in real-time interpretation. And then you can also, I'm trying to remember, you can also go back and view the videos, and it'll have all the CCTV scrolling, closed captions. Thank you, Emma. It's called closed captions. So right now, let me just show you guys my screen over in this other screen, and you'll see that the closed caption is on. So thank God for modern technology. Thank God for, you see the closed caption right there, folks? Let me enlarge this. Hold on. You see, there you go. So it says you can also see, it's doing it in real time. So if you are hearing impaired, that's one of the benefits. We were talking this morning, Sandra, that I'm going to be on traditional radio. Traditional radio might be challenging for people who are hearing impaired to be able to watch the program. Now they have the option of watching it on what is this? Facebook, YouTube, and the closed caption is part of the live. So I think this is fantastic. Listen, modern technology is amazing. I'm sure one day sign language interpreters might become obsolete because of, because of closed captioning. I don't know why our government hasn't discovered how to do that for a press briefing yet. When I say government, I mean you civil servants, not the political arm, because that's what the civil servants get paid to do, to know how to interject technology to reach all the people with a message.
I'm baffled, because I've been on Channel 52 in Miami. This was like about my daughter's. So let's say 91, 92, and it was so intense compared to what I had to work with yesterday. You know, I didn't even have like an agenda first and who's coming on and all this kind of stuff. A quick briefing of what's going on. I mean, if it's a show and a Sean Paul show in Disneyland, you can also go ahead. Oh, we remember Miles came here years ago. Those concerts. That's music I don't even know, and I was there interpreting for those music, and I still have communication with the people who well about that time. Yeah. I don't have patience or any animosity toward that.
Wonderful. Well, Sandra, like I said, you've got people wanting to learn sign language. Ingrid now says that she wants to learn.
I used to teach sign language at the hibiscus room at the for about 5 years for free.
Oh wow!
For free, and I also encouraged the parents, because once I was teaching the Cayman Islands deaf people sign language, so needed to get it, and half of them up until today don't even know sign language.
So
they're
how
busy trying to make money, and then their child is now old and whatever, they can't communicate.
So there are people in Cayman
the best
who
thing you learn is sign language, because if you get a stroke, you can speak just with one hand, one finger, or your eyes. You can speak. Even today, you can just blink and say yes, no. That is sign language.
Yes. Yeah, it has a lot of applications in the real world. So it's not just for the hearing impaired individuals. So, you know, when I was in university, Sandra, sign language counted as a second language. And for a minute there, I kind of thought about it. And then I was like, well, I'm already doing Spanish. And I kind of continued with my Spanish lessons. But thank you so much for coming on the show. We wish you could have joined the live by clicking the link, but a lot of people wanted to see you. But we appreciate you nonetheless taking the call. And, you know, adding a new level of discussion to this whole topic. I think it's everybody's talking about sign language today.
Exactly.
And nothing
what
wrong with
I
that.
wanted from a long time. And I'm happy I made an impact, because the lady that was there, she's from Jamaica. She's been working. Nobody said anything. But Sandra, they want to have a discussion. I'm good at my job. And I'm proud of who I am. So nobody can put any dent in me for whatever they said in regards to getting the language.
Now, how precise? Let me ask you this question, Sandra. How precise would your interpretations have been? Because is it a case where there's certain full words that you can use and then other words? I mean, is there a sign word for COVID already, or do you have to spell out COVID?
Yes, there's a sign word for COVID. You hold a fist and you put your hands hold your fist on your left, and then you open your fingers on your right and you turn your hand around. Now, if you look at the spores of COVID, the virus that they're showing, it is actually, it has all this, it's a circle and then something around it. So that means COVID. When you're doing the Delta, the different ones, you can do COVID A, COVID B, but it's based on not an international sign. A lot of people would look at the United States and they just make up that word, but it's not grasped down. So England is not grasped it. And even some places in Scotland, they have two sign language, not one. They have two language interpreters based on the international sign and the cultural sign. So you can go on the website. I know you like to do researches and stuff like that. So show me wrong. They have two, one at the bottom, one at the top, and then one at the person who's talking. Because the two, one is actually signing for their local people, and then the second one is signing for the international, so the whole world. So when you're signing, I'm actually was doing 4 jobs, 4 different, 4 different things, making sure that the points are taken. If it's international, yes. If it's local, yes. If it's uneducated local, yes. They all got it, and I'm happy I had people came here to my house to tell me, oh, Miss Sandra, I'm so happy that you came on board and assist, because they understood me.
I'm actually looking on screen now. The lady who's doing it, showing us the sign word for coronavirus, for COVID. Wow. Amazing. And then virus. Oh, virus is a bit more complicated.
Believe me, I'm up to date.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm up to date.
Sandra,
right now
thank you.
I have a gentleman who is deaf. The same one, as I said, I think I'm repeating myself on it. He lives with me. He has been living here. Government's supposed to get him out of my place for 3 months. And I'm happy that he's here with me now, 7 years later.
All right, my dear. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yes, my pleasure. Call me anytime.
Have a good day.
Yes.
All right, my dear.
And the Cayman Islands and everywhere else. Good morning. Have a pleasant day.
Yes. Thank you, my dear.
Yep.
All right. Good. Bye-bye. All right. So look at that. We're learning coronavirus is this. COVID. Well, folks, thanks to Sandra for coming on. Listen, this is a live interactive show. This is how we do it. We're coming to a radio station near you. We cannot tell you the frequency is 89.1. Where's my air horn? I'm so excited. I'm getting a new board. We're going to be able to take calls to the phone where you can actually hear it a little bit closer, because what I had to do is obviously for now put people on speakerphone and stuff like that. But we're getting there. We are getting there. So listen, folks, we're going to have Premier Access on 89.1 and every other Wednesday. And then every other Wednesday, to fill in the gap, we do Territories Talk, which is a partnership with our friends in the other regions. So around the Caribbean. So let me just show you guys this, because guess what? This week we have Dr. Roy Bodden, who's going to be joining in the 26th with the Caribbean Territories segment. So we're covering all of the territories. You can listen to this in Montserrat, 95.5. We've got CMR. And then, of course, by extension, it's now going to be on 89.1 here shortly. And hold on one second. I'm going to show you guys this topic that's coming out for this coming week. So this is one of our partners that has put this together. So I want to give them a big shout out. We're all trying to unite with each other in different ways, and the technology available to us certainly makes it a lot easier for us to be able to do this, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So give me 1 second. Let me see where I saved this just now. Okay. So, this is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Hold on. Trying to find it. Where did I put it? Oh, I've clicked on the wrong thing. Hold on. So they have an interesting discussion, folks, coming up this week. So make sure that you tune in on Wednesday. We'll have it live here in CMR. So they're going to have the parent chief. Who is the parent chief of Bermuda? Ryan Robinson, Dr. Roy Bodden of the Cayman Islands, Carlisle Corbin of the U.S. Virgin Islands. I've met Dr. Carlisle before, actually. And Dr. Tennyson Joseph of the University of the West Indies. Territories Talk, you can catch it in 95.5 in Montserrat, CMR right here. And like I said, once we're on air, we'll have this segment every other Wednesday on as well. CBN Radio, 90.9 FM in the Virgin Islands, and channel 82 on TV in Bermuda. So 6:30 p.m. local time, Cayman, Turks, Jamaicans, so on. 7:30 in Anguilla, Bermuda, the Virgin Islands. Everybody keeps telling me I'm pronouncing Bermuda incorrectly. I'm putting the emphasis on the, is it the Bur or the Mu? Well, whatever. Maybe I should learn the sign language of Bermuda so I don't have to say it. I do a hard, I think it's the first syllable of it. But anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. The Virgin Islands, Montserrat, and the Eastern Caribbean. So do check it out. Territories Talk. And this week, we've got Mr. Roy Bodden, who's coming up, representing the Cayman Islands in the discussion. So the topic is decolonization, quite a good one. So make sure you guys mark your calendar and you tune in for that. All right, good folks. I've opened up my window and I'm literally keeping an eye to see my Gucci friend, because after I saw him going back, normally we'd be home for the day. For some reason, I think it's the same one. I mean, mind you, there's definitely more than two around the place. There could be two. That he went back that way. So I'm like, is that the same one or is that another one? I feel like it's the same one. And maybe he decided to, but I'm keeping an eye because I want to grab him on video this morning because he was, child, he was out and about this morning. He's out kind of late. Some mornings they're up super early, and I guess like us, maybe they sleep in. So yes, thank you so much. Ingrid is interested in sign language classes. Good morning, Marshall. Nothing wrong with that. I still got this woman over here. She's teaching us stay home. So stay, yes. Home. Yeah. Stay home. Turna ye yard. So how do you, this is interesting. I'd like a sign language person to tell me this. Stay home is the proper way. How do you put it with the Jamaican dialect? How you say turna ye yard? Like, I don't really know how you do that, right? But listen, if you're interested in sign language, maybe this has sparked a new interest in the local community. So first of all, there's no single sign language around the world. So this is very interesting to know. This is how we obviously try to educate ourselves. There's no single sign language around the world, folks. And like spoken language, sign language developed naturally through different groups of people interacting with each other. So there's actually many varieties. So there's somewhere between 138 and 300 different, say what, types of sign language used around the globe. Wow. Interestingly, most countries that share the same spoken language do not necessarily have the same sign language as each other. Isn't that interesting? So English, for example, has three varieties. There's the American Sign Language, ASL. There's the British Sign Language, BSL. And there's the Australian Sign Language, ASL, called Auslan. Okay. Who knew? So what else do we have here about sign language? It's interesting. So they say that most people start their sign language journey learning A through Z, the alphabet. So that's what we do. Listen, all of us start language learning with the alphabet. We learn the alphabet. We learn the ABC song, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then we move on to putting it together in more complex words, right? By the way, my daughter's learning how to read. She's only 5 years old, and she's phonetically, doing quite well, actually, I think. Sometimes confidence, like she sees a word and you know that she knows it, but she's like looking at you like, and I'm like, just try to spell it out. And so she'll go, and then she'll go, juice, like when she finally gets it. So yes, I guess sign language is somewhat, maybe a little bit similar. You learn the alphabet first. So it says, for example, most sign languages have a specific sign for the word tree, but may not have a specific sign for oak. So oak would be the finger spelled to convey that specific meaning. So that's got to be hard though, because if you don't have a specific word, and this is what I was asking Sandra, that means that a lot of times you have to actually spell it out. And, people are speaking quickly. So I could understand why it wouldn't necessarily be a verbatim, translation a lot of times. And here's the thing. If someone is speaking at normal speed, which is pretty quick, versus signing speed, I mean, that can be very different. I'm sure of that. But I suggest that the government look into getting a real-time closed caption thing on their screen. So I know that if people are watching it on YouTube, I think YouTube might do it live as well as Facebook, maybe? Or do they have to turn it on for YouTube? I can't remember. But anyway, yep, check out those options. And, here we are having a conversation around something that normally we wouldn't even be talking about. Good morning, K-Man. Rise and shine. Y'all awake with me? What's the next topic that we had up? Let me just pull up my little fandangling thing here. So let's talk about what else happened at the press conference. Now that we have discussed the highlight of the day. Yeah, today is tight for me. I got a mug. Somebody asked me to come for. All right, so let's go over some of the details of what transpired out of the press conference. There's that one. I only see one. All right, so here we go. Recapping of what went on yesterday at the press briefing, other than the sign language entertainment. Phase 2 takes effect. Mic drop. That's the only, you know why I keep playing that one? It's the only one that I've reprogrammed into my Stream Deck right now. So I do have to get the others. This is my little one piece of hardware equipment that I have here. I got another one coming soon for my simulcasting into radio. Oh, I said phase 2. My apologies. It's supposed to be phase 5. Phase 5, not phase 2. We went there. We did that already. We are now doing phase 5 of the reopening. My apologies. I'm glad y'all are listening to me, and you can catch these slips of the tongue. Okay, phase 5 of the Cayman Islands reopening plan has commenced as of yesterday. Mic drop. Premier Wayne Panton. By the way, good job to the Premier and the Health Minister. They have made some real strides. Y'all used to be making fun of them, but he can't, he not talking properly and this, that. Listen, not everyone, I was having this conversation with someone last night. Not everyone, even if they're a politician, is naturally good at public speaking. People get nervous, even if they've been given presentations their entire lives. Getting in front of a camera, microphone, whatever, does something to the nerves of other people, of people in general. And, not everybody is as easy with it. I must admit that even for myself, a lot of people are like, oh, you're natural at this. And I've been on and off camera. Sometimes it takes a minute to get back into your stride. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. But one thing I must say is they have made significant improvements. Like, not reading from the speech verbatim is the number one thing, because then you can be more natural and you can talk about your little talking points and whatever. So congrats to them. Some people never improve in life, but they have made a significant improvement in a short space of time. So I'm pleased to say, to give that bit of critique. So children, all right, all children, Caymanians, residents, visitors, arriving as travelers will now take on the vaccination status of the parent or the adult they are traveling with, resulting in no need to quarantine for the majority of children. Now listen, what happens if you come with one parent who's vaccinated and one isn't? Y'all need to get on the same page. Get vaccinated, folks. The children of unvaccinated parents, because this is where now they're going to be taking your status, will continue to have to quarantine upon arrival, albeit for a recently reduced shorter period of time, now 10 days instead of 14 days. That's the gist of that. Okay. Health Minister Sabrina Turner was up next. And we also heard from Tourism and Transport Minister, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, via Zoom, because he remains in quarantine after traveling for the holidays. Yes. We also heard from Chief Medical Officer, Interim Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Ottilia Newton, Chief Medical Officer of Health, Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Samuel Williams Rodriguez, and prayer was led by Pastor Gerald Paul of the Safe Harbor Lutheran Church. Oh, we have a Lutheran church in Cayman? All right, then. Go on through, Lutherans. Highlights from the premiere about the updated regulations, which are now available online. All passengers, regardless of their vaccination status, traveling to and from the sister islands are going to be required to receive a negative test on a certified LFT or PCR. That's because y'all been going over there infecting them poor little brackers. And you know they're of an aged variety. So in other words, lots of elderly people, old folks, as we would say, there in Cayman Brac. So that is a major change that's required for traveling. So make sure you know. I haven't been to the Brac. Man, now I'm kind of wishing I had gone before. But you know, once the numbers started to climb in the Brac, I was like, oh no, I don't want to go. Because I feel like on the Brac, you're going to get in contact with more people quickly because of the condensed nature of, like, you know, you go to the one of 5 restaurants in the Brac, everybody going to be there. So I do love me a little Brac trip, though. Big shout out to the folks over the Alexander Hotel as well. So new ease travel restrictions for children. A lot of you should be happy because y'all been complaining about that for a minute. Thank you, Lord. I can now stop hearing that complaint. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we'll put up some links and some stories later on that you guys can see. So 0 to 11 will take the vaccination status of the adults they're traveling with. 0 to 4 will not have to do testing. 5 to 11 will have the same testing regimen or regime as adults. Isolation measures will also decrease for all securely verified passengers who are traveling from a country with less than 60% vaccination rate from 10 days to 7 days. That would be places like Honduras and the Philippines and Jamaica. Yes? So all securely verified passengers who are traveling from a country with less than 60%. But the problem with those countries still, though, is you can't get securely verified because of the system that they use for their vaccinations, whatever. It's a big mix-up situation. So talk to your governments over there, child. We can't serve the world's problems. All unvaccinated travelers go from 14 days to 10 days. Travelers in quarantine may exit via a certified LFT and not a PCR after being contacted by Travel Cayman. Which, by the way, somebody was messaging me about this yesterday, saying that that LFTs were the gold standard for employees. And I was like, the gold standard? Who's calling it that? And they said, oh, that was just a term. They were using. So certified LFTs for exit quarantine. I'm just going to make sure that this person is now aware of that. So lots of things were announced yesterday. Good morning, Debbie. How are you? Let me see here now. Vaccinated occupants of a residence where a traveler is allowed to quarantine will not be required to quarantine. Wait a minute. Vaccinated occupants of a residence where a traveler is allowed to quarantine will not be required to quarantine. That one's a bit confusing. Vaccinated occupants of a residence, where a traveler is allowed to quarantine will not be required to quarantine. Vaccinated occupants of a residence. That's confusing. Hold on now. Vaccinated occupants of a residence where a traveler is allowed to quarantine will not be required. I don't understand what the hell that means. Anybody can help me with this one? Vaccinated occupants of a residence. I got it up to that point. Where a traveler is allowed to quarantine. Will not be required to quarantine. Anybody anybody else confused by that wording? What? Kevin, are you following me here? I don't know. Oh, okay. So if my cousin came from Jamaica, and I'm vaccinated, I don't have to quarantine. Before, no one would be able to leave the house. Oh, but does it matter what the vaccination status is of the traveler? Does the traveler have to be vaccinated? Okay, we need to have a look at the regulations there. No. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Get some clarification here. All right. Those in quarantine are not free to leave home until they've received a yes. This is a big. Actually, Kevin, let me pull up some of these. Kevin has been kind enough to do some video clips for us, some very short video clips. So let me play a few of these because this is good to kind of get it in brief format because I know a lot of you may not have 2 hours to sit down and listen to the program. Miss Olive says, thanks. I'm out of isolation, but my husband has gone in. What a conundrum. What a mess, child. These are the COVID times that we're dealing with now. So let's see what the minister had to say here.
This week, the team met with Dr. Otilia Newton and other stakeholders to recommend changes to our control and management regulations to put in place a new inter-island travel policy that will now require all passengers, regardless of their vaccination status, traveling to and from the islands to receive a negative result on a certified lateral flow test or PCR before travel. These regulations are being updated in response to the high numbers of positive cases we've seen recently in the sister islands.
Now, this weekend is a long weekend, and everyone who will be traveling to the sister islands, be it by air or by boat, please go get on a certified LFT. Do not show up at the Cayman Airways ticket counter and say you didn't know. I am telling you now, you will not be boarded on that flight without a negative certified lateral flow test. This is now a part of our regulations. The change is now here, and we're doing our part. Doing nothing is not an option when it comes to the sister islands. It is not an option, and therefore these changes are in effect.
I hope y'all heard that.
I was pleased this week to see that the HSA has made PCR testing for travel and other voluntary screenings more affordable by decreasing the price to $75 CI. Now, in addition to this, yesterday they launched also the LFT online booking system that allows persons to make appointments as well as to pay online. Now, this new service is cutting edge for us here in the Cayman Islands, and this will also allow persons to pre-register for testing, therefore allowing them to move much faster and helps the process. Now, these appointments can be booked at hsa.ky/appointment.
Very good. I'm going to just play a few more, folks. I think these are extremely helpful for you to kind of get the gist of some of the key points yesterday. Big shout out to Kev for making these available so easily for me to just pull up.
We are saying, no, you can come in, you don't need to go into quarantine unless you develop symptoms, of course, but you and your children are tested. Likewise, when we have identified somebody who is positive, there is that first LFT, which comes positive, which is followed by a PCR. And the PCR is not only to confirm, is to get the CT values and to get the ability of sequencing and to see what is coming into the country. Because it's not just because, it's Omicron or we know everything is Omicron. There will be other variants developing. We need to be alerted. And then we don't release them until we have enough evidence that the CT values are below a level which is not, which means that they don't have enough virus to infect other people.
Here to share a bit of information that will go out to the travelers that are in quarantine right now, who will actually be able to take advantage of the impending changes in the quarantine periods. So our numbers show that there are 517 travelers that would be able to benefit from the early testing and the testing via lateral flow. So as soon as the regulations are published, those eligible travelers will receive an email from Travel Cayman. The email will outline the authorized testing facilities that the travelers can then contact to make an appointment or find out the details about the certified LFT testing. To emphasize, the home administered LFT tests are not acceptable. You have to go to an approved provider, so either the HSA or any of the other private facilities. Many of them have online booking facilities at this point, and appointments. Once you receive those results, the traveler would then have to email those results into Travel Cayman released at gov.ky. Sorry, it's TC released, Tango Charlie released at gov.ky. This would all be in the body of the email that the traveler has received. All results should be emailed in, both positive and negative reports. We will also be getting an end of day report from the test provider, so we have a way of verifying those emails as well. But by emailing travel TC results at gov.ky, we can facilitate a faster offboarding of those persons who are currently in quarantine. Once Travel Cayman team then receive those results, they will then review those and then contact the traveler about offboarding. That's removing the GPS bracelet and the government issue tracking devices and all the bits related to that offboarding. Travelers can only travel to the authorized testing facilities by themselves if they can transport themselves. So you're not going to be calling one of your family members outside of the quarantine facility to come get you. If you can't transport yourself, then you have to make an arrangement through an approved taxi who is authorized and trained in proper PPE to transport you to the testing facilities. Travelers should not deviate from the testing. So you leave your quarantine facility, you go to your LFT testing facility, and you go back to your quarantine facility to await your results and the offboarding process. That is the bulk of the process. We expect to have those results back within hours, so the offboarding should be quite swift for those persons in quarantine. So that's the key messages and the process that will take place. So those 517 travelers will get an email this evening advising of the new process and the steps that have to be followed.
All right, folks, let's hear a few messages now from the Minister of Tourism and Transport, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan.
Ships will not be permitted to return to Cayman, at least for the immediate future. I know that every day that passes without cruise ships in our ports is a loss of revenue opportunity for many Caymanians and businesses that support this very important industry. And believe me, I do understand and I sympathize with what you're going through. Excited to confirm the return in February of the United Airlines service from Chicago, Houston, Washington, and Newark, New Jersey. Also, American Airlines service from Miami and Cayman Airways service from Denver, Colorado. In March, we look forward to the return of Delta service from Atlanta, Southwest service from Fort Lauderdale, Baltimore, and American Airlines service from Charlotte, North Carolina. The return of these flights increases the numbers of airline seats to Cayman and the variety of gateways to make it easier and convenient for our visitors to get to our wonderful shores.
Thank you to the good ministers for all of that useful information. So folks, those are some of the highlights of what came out of the press conference yesterday. There's a lot of details. We'll post up a story with the regulations if you'd like to go read them for yourself. Most people don't want to read the regulations. They're like, child, I don't understand what they're saying anyway. So I find that those little video clips are super helpful. So thank you so much, Kev, for getting those together for us. I'm just trying to see if there was anything else. Okay. Okay, so let me just see if there's anything else in terms of that we needed to cover. Anything else at the press conference yesterday? So a few changes. It's interesting that over 500 people who are currently in quarantine will actually benefit from some of these changes. So I think that's quite good. Yeah, wonderful. Let's move on. Minister Juliana O'Connor Connolly has been hospitalized, and she's now in Grand Cayman receiving treatment. So we did receive footage yesterday of the helicopter. Big shout out to the RCIPS for going to the BRAC and providing some transport assistance, kind of like medevac services, really. So this is fantastic. They transported not just the Honorable Minister, but there was a gentleman, I understand, who also needed to be transported. He was having some difficulties. And so now they have brought him from Cayman BRAC as well. So 2 people were actually transported yesterday. So we're wishing them and everybody else who is currently in the hospital suffering from COVID, and I guess anything else that you might be suffering from, a speedy recovery. So we know that the minister has some comorbidities, which essentially is anything that puts you at a higher risk. And comorbidities can be a lot of different things. Believe me when I tell you, being overweight is a comorbidity. So we've talked about this before. Having diabetes is a comorbidity. So comorbidity basically is the simultaneous presence of 2 or more diseases or medical conditions in a patient. So age, right? Age and comorbidity may be a risk factor for poor outcome. And we know that as it relates to COVID, this is very, very true, that those things are a definite, comorbidity. So sometimes ethnicity, race makes a difference in your capacity to survive certain things. Here's a headline. It says Omicron, this is 2 days ago. Omicron patients under 60 with no comorbidities can start a symptomatic treatment with paracetamol. So this is interesting. I'd want to read that to see exactly what that's all about. So you've got to be very, very careful, folks, with comorbidities and specifically with COVID, because what we've realized is that the COVID-19, the virus itself will prey on people who have pre-existing conditions or any of the comorbidities that we've mentioned. Those are persons who are more likely to die. Now, that doesn't mean that you can have 0 comorbidities and still not be taken under by COVID. Of course you can. And there are lots of people who are falling into that category, but your chances are certainly higher if you have, if you're overweight, if you have, these other things that are going on, diabetes, other medical conditions. Maybe you have lupus or, cancer. There was people who didn't even know that they had cancer until they died from COVID. This was early on. And then they're like, oh, apparently this person had a blood cancer and didn't know it. And COVID took advantage of that. This coronavirus is looking for a way to kill you, basically. Cancers, chronic kidney disease, chronic liver disease, lung disease. Ooh, if you got lung disease, asthma, anything with the bronchius. So if you got bronchitis, bronchial pulmonary issues, any kind of a COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, if you've got damage or scarred lung tissue from something else, cystic fibrosis, pulmonary embolism, which is basically a blood clot in the lung, hypertension, high blood pressure, all these things make you at risk, folks, when it comes to COVID, even dementia, other neurological diseases, diabetes, everything, heart conditions, HIV infections, immunocompromised state. So if you have certain disorders that, weaken your immune system, sometimes your immune system is actually weakened because you're taking a drug. If you have like an immune disorder to suppress that impact, you might have to take a drug to do that. You are then immunocompromised because of the drug that you're taking to try to control something else. It happens all the time. I'm trying to think of some of the disorders that fall into that. But, sometimes the body attacks itself. And so, oh God, what is that one disease called? And when that happens, you have to take a drug to try to make your body not attack itself, but it compromises your immunity system. It suppresses it. And then that makes things like COVID, the coronavirus, much more likely to come in and do a lot of damage to you. So folks, keep up with your medication, but make sure you're speaking to your primary physicians. If you have any specialists in your life, if you, have heart conditions or anything of that nature, by all means, we encourage you to make sure that you know your risk. So the minister has risk. She's obese. I don't think anybody can argue with that. That's not debatable. And she has other health conditions that she has mentioned before, which, by the way, was one of the reasons why she was hesitant about getting vaccinated. And in fact, comorbidity should be the very reason that you get vaccinated, because you are at higher risk. So she hadn't been boosted yet. Sorry, folks, my back scratcher is required at this moment. She hadn't yet been, it's got stuck. She hadn't yet been boosted, but that could have helped. But, at least she's vaccinated. So we hope for her that she has a speedy recovery, and for the other gentleman as well from Cayman Brac. Cayman Airways brought in the B737-8 yesterday, formerly known as the MAX 8, and she landed to a degree of fanfare. So let me show you guys some of the video footage of that. We got a couple of different clips here, so let me just pull them all in. So thank you for persons who sent us these clips of her coming in and landing. This is what makes CMR wonderful. We're like community news. You guys send me the video footage, you send me the information, and we just share it with everybody and make it happen. So that's what I love about CMR. It really is community news. Check this one out. So this was her coming in. Yeah, nice smooth landing. All right, so that was, oh, sorry, that was the landing. We have another angle. I think this might have been was this the flyover? All right, folks, so that is the water cannon salute. And she did do a flyover from Cayman Brac and the Sister Islands as well. I'll show you guys that one. Let me just see if I can find that one actually. Hold on one second. I've got another one here. This looks like this is this morning. That big bright sun. Amazing. How many of you, as children, used to go to the airport with your parents and watch the planes come in? I felt like it used to be more of a big deal when we were. So that was yesterday. So that was on her arrival yesterday. Kind of looks like that's the morning sun, but yeah, that was yesterday as well. So slightly different angle. There she is. All right, folks. So she is beautiful, if I might say so myself. So thank you all very much for sending the various footages for us to be able to share with everyone. And yeah, so that's 4 of the 737s now, larger, 30%, I think, 30 more seats or something. So larger capacity. She can fly a longer distance, more fuel efficient, more just ergonomically designed. If you've been on the plane, you'll know that there's a lot of really nice features to this plane that make her the gold standard of aviation. Some early issues early on, and we understand now that those have been addressed. So Jamelia says, no, an Max 8 landed before her. So that's not the one. No, that's her that came in, actually, I'm told. So Sharon says, where should one make payment when do the drive-through? So you have to do it online. So that is the one caveat to the drive-through option, is you have to have access to be able to do it online. So you do your registration and payment and everything online for drive-through. If you don't have the ability to go to the website, which is hsa.ky/appointments, to be able to do that online, then you're going to have to go the traditional route and show up to the McClendon Drive location and go there. Paul joining us from Texas. Good morning. 22 degrees. He's like, I need to get back home to the Caribbean. Yes, come on home, my brother. That's freezing temperature. I don't mind a little cold every once in a while, but gosh, when you have to live in it and you got to be outside doing stuff in the cold. All right, so LFT online booking system allows persons to make appointments as well as pay in line, and you have to pre-register for testing, and it allows you to move through the process a lot quicker as well. hsa.ky/appointment. Let me just see if there's anything else before we move on to our topics. It's 9:18 a.m. Let's do a little time check. Congratulations to Barbados. Another election of the term for their prime minister. So we talked about the sneak peek of us coming to radio 89.1. CMR show is going to be live. Tell your granny, tell your auntie, tell all the older folks in your life who prefer to listen to radio that we are coming. We're coming soon. I don't know. There's a particular company who sends me their press releases. I'm like, unfortunately for you, it's more like promoting their business services and they don't want to pay for it. Well, I'm going to write them. CMR will be on traditional radio soon. Listen to me. For our morning show. Perhaps you can consider our advertising packages. Good morning. I will not forget my manners, madam. Good. There we go. Know your worth, folks. Know your worth. Don't let anybody use you. Know your worth. So when they be coming trying to peddle their little press releases, pretending like it's news. They want to tell, oh, but this is newsworthy. Okay. Let me just see here. Let me just have a quick look at something. Oh, yes. So I was telling you guys earlier how we had to back up all my contents on the drive. Now I have to re-save stuff. So, I have my quick access area folders that I use a lot. I like to have them right there because then I don't have to go looking all over Kingdom Come for them. And right now I feel like I'm having to do a lot of that. So I need to resave because I can't remember where things are at, to be quite frank and honest with you. So now I'm having to yes, here we go. I need to take this folder and click on pin to quick access. There we go. So now I can have it easily in that area. Yeah, honey child, because otherwise I can't find it. Okay, so view large icons so I can see what I'm sending. All righty then. I feel like this is old information. Yes. I need to, when you have certain things that you don't want to accidentally send people, what you got to do, folks, is create a little folder that says DNU, do not use. And because you might need it in the future for different, like to show designers something you had before that you liked or whatever. But then you got to put it in that folder because you accidentally send people stuff and it's outdated information. And you don't want to do that. No? Okay. I think I need this in I have it as a PDF, but I feel like I need it as a JPEG as well. Let me just ask my guy. He wants to take the weekend off, my designer. And I said, yes, of course you can take the weekend off. Spend some time with your family. He's been so busy. Let me just ask him, however, if I ever got this as a use and it's in JPEG format. All right, goody people. Let me see what else will go on around here. So you've got lots going on. 8:49 this morning, we got a press release from the Health Services Authority. So they have said daily PCR testing at South Sound Community Center to relocate. Hey, y'all gonna get it here first. So here we go. Ready? Public Health Department has announced, mic drop, that the daily PCR testing walk-in clinics normally held at the South Sound Center will now be changed to a drive-through at the Truman Bodden Sports Complex effective today. So no longer go to the South Sound Community Center. The new drive-through clinic hours will be 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. daily. Good, because I think those people at the HSA South Sound, like the residents in that area, they were sick and tired of all the bad parking and whatever. We do have a missing teenager. Yes, thank you for reminding me about that. I sent it to Renee. Let me see. She might not be up yet. But she has received it. Let me just check and see if she's actually put it up. Because sometimes, child, she'd be quick. She puts up stuff, and so it's not up yet. So let me just double check on the status of that. So she should have that up soon. Okay. All right. So South Sound, don't go there. So Meatloaf, as we heard on 106 this morning, has passed away. How old was he, by the way? The one song that I, again, remember him for is that one that says, I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that. And everybody was like, well, what is that? What exactly is that? When I was in university, I got to be honest, we were all very, very curious about, I wonder what that was. Did anybody ever figure out what that was? You do anything for love, but you won't do that. And we would make up, we'd make fun of the song by making up our own, like, what would you do anything for love, but you wouldn't do what? Everybody's got a limit. Everybody's got a limit where they're like, yo, I'm not going to do that. So when we were in school, we'd make up like what the that was. So Meatloaf was very, he was a rock and roll artist. Some of his pictures were very, very interesting. He's died at 74 years old, which is, I guess, not too shabby. We don't know yet, I don't think, what he died from. But that album, that was part of the Bad at Hell 2 album, I think, right? Or was that the original Bad at Hell? I don't know. But I don't remember him. I don't know when Meatloaf started his career. I think it would have been like way before I was born for sure. But I remember in the 1990s, that would have been mid to late 90s when that song came out, that was like, I loved that song. It was just like an awesome, absolutely awesome song. So our condolences to his family. Yeah, so very, very sad that he's passed away. Wow. So it says that no cause of death yet, but he has faced some health concerns over the years. In 2016, he collapsed on stage in a performance of "I'd Do Anything for Love, But I Won't Do That" at the Northern Jubilee Auditorium in Canada. He was suffering from severe hydration. Wow, back then. So yeah, I mean, he was a big fella too. So, might just be the heart. Who knows? Don't know. So yeah, lost another good one, another great artist. Let me just see what else we got coming down the pipeline. Our nature inspection take place next Wednesday. Oh, again? Really? All right. Okay. Okay. I think that's more or less what I've got for you guys today. Just making sure I haven't missed anything. So listen, we have a new segment that's going to be launching. It's going to be pre-recorded actually, but then we'll push it through as sort of a live event. So you guys will be able to join in with your comments. I want to do it as a pre-recorded because I really need to think carefully about how to address certain things, right? So it is called Sort 'em Out, Sandy. And so yesterday we put up our first one that I will be recording over the weekend surrounding the issue of sexual harassment. Oh, there's some things that just get under my skin in a different kind of way. And if you're a person who engages in sexual harassment, who ignores sexual harassment, especially in the workplace, we can have an issue. So that will be the first one that we're going to talk about. I want y'all to have a think about it because it is extremely disturbing when people believe that they can do certain things. They can send people certain pictures unsolicited. They can want to engage in sexual activity with people and make certain comments that are completely not appropriate. I mean, y'all just, this is 2022. What you did in 1990 or even 2000 or even 2015, you can no longer do with impunity. You're going to be called out. Have y'all not been paying attention to the hashtag Me Too movement? I feel like that movement has not come to Cayman quite fully yet. But if we need to bring it, then we're going to bring it because I know that so much of it goes on and there's a level of utter and disgusting ridiculousness of what is permitted to happen in this country. So this young lady has reached out to us and, she has said, listen, she is feeling harassed at work. She's even gone as far as contacted an attorney to write the individuals to say, stop harassing me. And they continue to try to solicit sexual favors out of her. Now, some of y'all have a record that is a mile long when it comes to this type of unbelievable behavior. And so when people make these allegations, it shouldn't be a surprise if you really and truly know people. So we have that one that's going to be recorded soon for the Story About Sandy segment. We have another one where a wife is asking about the wife is asking about what to do about her cheating husband. That's certainly an interesting question. And so we're going to help her out as much as we can on that topic as well. Y'all know what I'm going to say. The first thing I'm going to be is like, you want to know what to do with a cheating husband? Anyway, we'll be dealing with some of those topics, rest assured. Larry says he died from COVID. Oh, did he? Okay, I don't know yet. I haven't seen it. Aliana says they have 4 MAX 8 now, so they could look into more options like charters around the Caribbean. Well, potentially, and they can go much farther than that as well. So Jonathan says if they got the plane working, maybe they could start putting on some destinations, some new destinations. That's the idea. Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, Cancun, or they could bring back the Panama trip as well. I think that's all in the works, but obviously with COVID, I'm sure that that's always a consideration. But yeah, definitely Panama is not that far from here. So that could be something that definitely we should be able to accommodate again. I think we were able to do the Panama trip even with the older planes, really. Good people, that's all I got for you. It is Friday. Happy Friday to all of you. Wishing you a fantabulous weekend. Please be safe. We got lots of news stories that we'll be putting up throughout the day. And of course, this evening, we'll have our CMR daily news briefs with Misha. We're also going to be recording an interview with Misha next week so that you guys can get to know her a little bit better as well. Who is Misha? Where's she from? Probably who her mom and dad is not going to make a difference because you would know them anyway. But we are going to spend a little bit of time getting to know her. We've got lots of exciting things planned for 2022, folks. This is just the beginning. So rest assured, radio is one of the things that's coming quickly. The CMR Daily News Buzz we've already launched, and we've got the cooking show that's coming. Tons of really exciting stuff. So be safe this weekend, folks, and enjoy the weekend. You know, go and maybe go to the beach, play some pickleball, do something on the outdoors, do some fun. I'm going to be organizing closet space. That will probably take up most of my weekend. I'll be decluttering the file cabinets. I'll be shredding and scanning stuff and all that fun thing, all those fun things. To try to organize my life a little bit better. And yes, happy Friday, Miss Loretta. Be safe, folks. I shall see you, God's willing, on Monday morning at 7:30 a.m.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. Make sure to check Facebook for showtimes and more information and the latest news at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Subscribe to our IG and Facebook pages to get the latest happenings.